the deal? What's the deal? You know where we at. It's where we keep it real. It's the breaks, baby.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Beautiful people. How y'all doing? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? Hopefully great and amazing. The Super Bowl has came and passed, and Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are champions once again, and it's not a surprise, right? I mean, at this point, we kind of just expect him to win it, right? But man, oh man, there's a couple moments in that game where I had kind of scratching my head a little bit. I want to start off with the 49ers. I expected Christian McCaffrey to, get a big load in that game. What I didn't understand was George Kittle only getting 3 targets. That I don't understand. I know he's, kind of been banged up over the last couple years, and I think he dealt with some injuries this season, but to only target him 3 times, as big of a weapon as he is, and as productive as he is when you give him the ball and feed him, yes, he's a great blocker, but you can't just use him for blocking. I mean, come on, I understand you got Ayuk and Debo and McCaffrey, and I get it, but that just didn't make any sense to me at all. And I feel the game could have been a lot different. The outcome would have been a lot different had you just made it a point to give Kittle the ball. Now, if I'm Kittle, I'm probably asking for a trade. I know he's not going to. He's been there his whole career, but I'm just saying, in that the biggest game of the year, I only get 3 targets. Come on, man, I get hurt, I leave to the locker room, I come back, and y'all don't even look for me?
Bye-bye.
That just didn't make sense to me at all. Well, like I said, it was a heavy dose of McCaffrey. That's all you saw. Every time you look up, McCaffrey. Debo, he hurt his hamstring. He got a couple targets. I thought he would have been a lot more effective in that game. So I was surprised to see his production was as low as it was. Ayuk, he showed up. When he got his targets, he made sure he caught them, and, he did his thing. Like I said, going back to McCaffrey. But how about Jennings, though? Jennings had a hell of a game. Shout out to him. Sucks they couldn't get the win, but I mean, damn. Dude threw a touchdown pass, was catching everything, was getting yards. Like, he showed out, man. He definitely proved that he needs to be on that team for a while. He could be a main piece, a main staple on that team. But going over to Kansas City, you got to give the Chiefs credit, man. There's no way you could hate on Mahomes. It's greatness, man. You can never hate on greatness. Will he pass Tom Brady for Super Bowls? I don't know. It's hard to tell. He's on pace. He's on track, but they're just dangerous, man. I told you guys, that trio of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed, there was no way I could go against the Chiefs in that game, although it did look like the 49ers were going to get it done. You look at halftime, they were in control of the game. Kansas City was struggling. The Niners were getting pressure, And then you had the injury to Greenlaw. That hurt. That definitely hurt because the pressure was not the same. They were not able to generate the same amount of pressure on Mahomes as they were before Greenlaw got hurt. But you got to give credit where credit's due, right? I mean, Mahomes, he's just great, man. He's just that dude. Mahomes is that guy. Andy Reid, I don't know where you want to put him as far as all-time coaches. Me and my dad and my uncle, we were just talking about that a couple days ago. Some of them had him top 5. I could see him, obviously, top 10. He has to be top 10. Exactly where you want to put him, I don't know. I'm sure that argument will start to, or that conversation will start to happen over the next couple days. Don't let them win again next year, though. I mean, couldn't they? Of course. You always got a chance with Mahomes. But this definitely has to be the most impressive Super Bowl, considering the regular season. I mean, you look at how they were in the regular season. They led the league in drops. This is the most mediocre receiving core that Patrick Mahomes has had, probably his worst receiving core. No disrespect to those guys, but I mean, just the talent, And really, it's just Tyreek Hill that's gone. I mean, they still got McCole Hardman. Valdez-Scantling has been a big piece. He showed up in that game. But, yeah, this is a real dynasty, and it's really looking like Mahomes is going to get him a couple more. I give him, damn, it's tough, 2 more. And I know it's hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3 more. The dude stays healthy. Arm talent is amazing. And I can't say enough, and I can't give the Chiefs enough respect. So to any Chiefs fans out there watching, kudos, congrats to you guys. To the Niner fans, man, it's been heartbreak after heartbreak the last couple of years. I mean, you go back to 2013, 13. It's just been heartbreak after heartbreak, man, for the Niners. Every time they get to the playoffs, they lose. They come up short of making it to the playoffs. They make it to the Super Bowl, the conference championship. They lose. It's tough. I know it's tough for the 49ers. I know California would have been going crazy had they had won. A lot of people who aren't even 49er fans were cheering for him just because it's a California thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Spagnuolo too. I got to give Spagnuolo credit. He did a great job with that defense. They really turned it up in that second half. And Brock Purdy started to struggle a little bit. And shout out to Brock Purdy too. Let's talk about Brock Purdy, man. You see Cam Newton and all, game manager, this and that. Regardless, game manager, whatever title you want to give him, dude's a baller, man. Okay, I know there was a couple throws that he didn't make, but there's a couple big throws that he did make. So, shout out to Purdy. I definitely think he's the guy for that team. You got the right weapons. I think they got the right coach. Shanahan's 0-3 in the Super Bowl as a head coach and an offensive coordinator, but I believe he could get it done. I don't think there's any reason to panic and abandon your coach. Who are you going to get? If you get rid of Shanahan, who are you going to go get? That's the question you got to ask yourself. So it was a great game. That's what we wanted, right? You never want to see a blowout in the Super Bowl. We had a close game all the way through. We even got overtime. I don't know when's the last Super Bowl we had overtime in, but that was pretty dope. Kelsey did his thing. You knew he was. Come on. Taylor Swift was there. You know he was going to show out. It took him a minute. You know what I'm saying? He got going in the second half. But, yeah, Kelsey showed up and did his thing. My uncle could have won some bread. He was short on his picks. Kelsey couldn't get in the end zone. That's the only thing, right? I'm pretty sure if you were betting, oh, yeah, Kelsey's getting a touchdown. There's no way he's not. Super Bowl, their best weapon. Taylor Swift is there. Didn't get a touchdown, but he had, 9 catches for 93 yards. So, hell of a game for Travis Kelce. Where do you put him all time as far as tight ends? I know he's still building his resume, but he's got to be top 10 already, right? Has to be. Dude just consistently gets open and just consistently finds a way. And that's the same with Mahomes, and that's the same with Reed, and that's why that trio is so dangerous. They just consistently find a way, and that's why you got to give him props, man. You can't hate on that. What he's doing, we've only seen Brady do it, right? There's been other Montana, Bradshaw, they got 4, and, other quarterbacks got 3 and stuff like that, but as fast as Mahomes is doing it, we haven't seen a quarterback do it at this pace. So you definitely got to show him love and give him credit, man, because this is something you're not going to see too often. Look at how many good quarterbacks are in the league right now. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, all these talented quarterbacks, and Mahomes is the only one getting it done. So it's obviously hard, man. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously not an easy thing to do. He just makes it look easy, and that's why you got to give him credit, and that's a testament to his greatness, So they already got they got the Niners as the favorite for next year. I never understood that. Let's talk about that. I never understood how the day after the Super Bowl, Vegas is already coming out with odds on who's going to win next year's Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So much stuff can happen from now to the next season. Trades, players getting, retiring, coaches leaving, all kinds of stuff. General managers leaving, new offensive court. So many things can happen that can make a team look completely different within a season. So, hey, shout out to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They did it once again. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a couple more. It's greatness, man. So, hey, that's all I had to say. But stay tuned. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back. I was actually supposed to go over some stuff. I kind of forgot. I went on my little rant. But I got y'all, man. I got y'all when we come back. So stay tight. We're going to review these Super Bowl bets from last week. All right? Stay tight.
Hey, everyone. I'm Neko Bumike with the LA Sparks, and you are watching Infinity Television.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Chanel Gwimike, and you're watching Infanity Television. Boom.
Shout out Infanity Television. This is Juju Watkins. See y'all.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Now, you know we have some wagers. It's the Super Bowl. How we not going to have some bets? Come on now. And, we did pretty good, man. We did pretty decent. Whatever betting app you're using, hopefully you were able to flex. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying?
Winner!
If you did do a straight 4-man, then I let you down. But we're going to start it off, man. I told y'all Christian McCaffrey over 130.5 rushing plus receiving yards. He crushed it. He had 160. I knew he was going to be a workhorse in this game. He has been for the 49ers all year, so I knew it was going to be a heavy dose of McCaffrey. And he's just been unstoppable, man. You go back to his days with the Carolina Panthers. Dude is a beast. You got to consider him one of the most talented running backs of all time. I'm not going to say one of the greatest. It's different if you're saying one of the greatest and one of the most talented, but he's definitely one of the most talented of all time, considering what he can do in the receiving game and the running game. Can kill you if he gets to the outside, has enough speed to get to the outside and beat defenders, but he's also tough and has no problem running in between them tackles and getting banged up a little bit. So we definitely got to win on that one. McCaffrey over 130.5. He had 160. I even hit y'all with Jake Moody, the field goal kicker for the 49ers. I said over 1.5 field goals made. He had 3.
Winner!
I'll take that. And I even said I liked Harrison Butker. I don't know if y'all remember, but I said, I like Harrison Butker on the side. If you want to throw him in there. I said that wasn't one of my plays, but I did say I liked him. He went over on his field goals as well, 1.5. I believe he had 3 as well. And then we had Kelsey. How can you not take Kelsey? I'm glad I didn't take the touchdowns like my uncle. Shout out Uncle Melvin. My bad. But I'm glad I didn't take the touchdowns because then we would have lost. I took him on receiving yards. He hit 73.5. He went way over that.
Winner!
He had near 20 yards. He had 93. So, yeah, he went over by 19.5 yards. You knew he was going to have a big game. Come on, he's their best weapon. With all the weapons the Niners have, he was going to have to show up big for the Chiefs to have a chance to win this game, especially the way these receivers have been dropping balls this year. You don't want to have to rely on somebody else stepping up and being that number one guy, especially in a game like the Super Bowl. So we definitely got to win on that one. And the one I let y'all down on, I did say it was a sweat. I did say it's the Super Bowl. If we're going to sweat, we're going to sweat. It was Patrick Mahomes under half an interception. It was looking good, man, the whole game. I believe that interception came in the third quarter, and he really didn't even have to throw that ball. It was kind of a forced pass, and that's always a recipe to throw an interception. So we went 3-1 on the Super Bowl picks, which isn't bad. Like I said, hopefully you were able to flex. Maybe you just took 2 of my picks, but hey, it's not bad, man. 3-1, I'll take it. And we'll just jump into the NBA bets while we on it. That same day, I gave y'all 2 plays on the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns game. And I told you guys I would keep it simple. Didn't want to overcomplicate things because just like we saw right here on these NFL bets, we know how it can be when you got 4-man, 3-man. It's always that one. Mahomes was that one. If we would have stuck to 3, we would have been good. But we had Kevin Durant over 25.5 points. He went over that. He had 28. That was money. Come on. It's KD, man. Easy money sniper. You know what I'm saying? And then we had Giannis Antetokounmpo, 32.5 points. He finished with 34. So we got that one. We was a sweep on the NBA 2-0. So hopefully you followed those plays. And you definitely hit and cashed out a little something. And, those were the plays for this week. We're going to jump into some NBA real quick. And then, of course, I got some more bets for y'all later. But Victor Wembanyama, man, went off last night for the Spurs. First player since Hakeem Olajuwon to have 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 blocks, and 5 assists. Dude is the truth. The league is his. He's here. He has arrived. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, he's 19. Nah, all that's put to bed. If you doubted him from the beginning, then you obviously don't know basketball, because when you're 7'4", 7'6", the game is just naturally going to come easy to you when you're that tall. I mean, the hoop is only, 10 feet tall? So, I mean, come on, 7'6", you turn around, boom, easy layup, rebounds. All that's just going to come naturally easy. So, yeah, I don't see how you could have doubted him. I know some people did, but I was watching him in the French League before he came over to the NBA because they were showing his games on NBA League Pass. I had a good feeling the Spurs would get the number 1 pick, which is my team. I got the logo tatted right here. So I had a feeling they would get the number 1 pick, so that's another reason why I was paying attention to him. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 9-1 in their last 10. Serious problem. Look out for the Cavs, man. Like I've said before, this is what we expected from them at the beginning of the season based off of what they did last year. Got off to a slow start, but now they got things rolling. Donovan Mitchell balling. Garland just came back. Mobley came back not too long ago. Remember, they were balling and going on winning streaks without those two guys, and now they're back. And then you add in Max Strus, who I've talked about before, big three-point shooter, a decent perimeter defender. So watch out for the Cavs, man. And you know Donovan Mitchell's on a mission. You know, all them years in Utah, they couldn't get it done. You definitely know he's trying to make something happen with Cleveland. So watch out for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We got the Milwaukee Bucks, man. 30-13 when they fired Adrian Griffin. They're 5-6 with Doc Rivers, which isn't great, but they have the 5th best defense since they've gotten Doc Rivers, which is a surprise because Doc's not known to be a defensive coach, right? So that's really surprising me, the fact that they, took to Doc and bought into whatever he's selling. Obviously, it helps that you bring Patrick Beverley over and you put him next to Malik Beasley. Those are two solid perimeter defenders. And, so watch out for the Bucks, man. Now that they got their defense together, they could definitely be a threat in the playoffs because that's what you need come playoff time. All these teams can score points. There's gifted offensive players on every team. It's the NBA, but you got to have defense. You got to be able to get stops. And no, you're not going to shut the great offensive players down, but you got to at least make them work. Make them work. Make it tough for them. Make them force a couple shots. Just make them uneasy. Don't let them get to their spots as easy. You know what I'm saying? And the Milwaukee Bucks are looking like a serious threat, so watch out for them. And then, of course, the Golden State Warriors. How can I not bring up the Golden State Warriors? They've won 5 in a row. Looking good. The emergence of Kuminga, man, I'm telling you, this dude is for real. Kuminga is legit. And I was wondering when he was going to take that next step, right? Because that's kind of what was hurting the Golden State Warriors, is him and Wiggins not showing up like Golden State expected them to. That was why they were able to get rid of Jordan Poole. Obviously, the issues within the team in the locker room, but you see the guys, okay, we got Kuminga we got Kuminga and Wiggins. Wiggins has been proven, he had a big series for us when we won the title 2 years ago, and it just made it easier to get rid of Jordan Poole, right? When you see those guys waiting in the wings, and now Kuminga and them got it going. Clay had a good game last night. I'm still hoping he can get rolling because I love Klay Thompson. So the Golden State Warriors can never count them out as well. When you got the chef and you got Clay, now you got Kuminga, and dudes is tough. And they got that championship grit, that championship experience, and you can always lean on that come playoff time. And then as far as Kuminga, it helps, right? I mean, you got a guy like Clay. You got Draymond, you got veterans you could lean on. That always makes it easier. Steph still demands a lot of attention. I don't care how much Clay struggles. You're going to have to account for him when he's on the floor because any given night, he could get hot and light it up. It's not coming as consistently as it was, but he's still that threat, right? From three-pointers, from the three-point line and just getting to the free throw line, hitting little mid-range jumpers. So that's just naturally going to make the game easy for Kuminga, and you're seeing him take advantage of that. Dude's putting up crazy numbers. And then the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to end it with the Dallas Mavericks. What did I tell you guys? I've been saying that the Dallas Mavericks needed a scoring big, right? I was saying that last season. And what did they do? They went out and got P.J. Washington from the Hornets and Daniel Gafford. Now, Daniel Gafford obviously is an inside presence, gets a lot of rebounds, does the dirty work, a lob threat. Get your rebounds, offensive rebounds, putbacks, things like that. But P.J. Washington, did not expect that to be the player they were going after. I figured they need more of a traditional big or just someone, taller and just bigger as Markkanen Vucevic, someone like that. But P.J. Washington is a great pickup. I love that for the Dallas Mavericks. You got a big who could play down low, who could stretch the floor, step out to the three-point line, hit you a couple threes, gets rebounds, high energy, active guy. So I love that for the Dallas Mavericks. Watch out for them because they're slowly becoming my team who can make a push for the NBA Finals. So that's all I got for the NBA, man. Hang tight. We're going to get into a little bit of baseball, And you ain't going to want to miss that because I got some good previews and predictions for some teams. So hang tight. We'll be back.
Hey everyone, I'm Neko Gwumike with the LA Sparks, and you are watching Infanity Television.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Chanel Gwumike, and you're watching Infanity Television. Boom.
Shout out Infanity Television. This is Juju Watkins. See y'all.
All right. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. Normally I save my bets to the end. I really want to get into this baseball, but real quick, I got to hit you with my plays for today. I got to make sure I get y'all some money, man. I can't leave y'all without any plays. So today I'm doing a 4-man, and it's just on the Sacramento Kings-Phoenix Suns game. I love that matchup. Should be an up-and-down, high-scoring game. Kevin Huerter over 15.5 points. Sabonis over 8.5 assists. Grayson Allen over 2.5 assists, and De'Aaron Fox over 23.5 points. I don't have a script. I don't have a rundown, no explanation why I like them. I just like them. I feel like I'm proven at this point. So go ahead and lock those in, man. We're going to get this money today. Now we could jump over to some baseball. I really want to get into some teams. I want to start off with the American League Central. This whole notebook that you see that's on the desk, this whole notebook is nothing but baseball predictions. My expectations for each team, players to watch out for, my expected records for each team, where they're going to finish in the division, all that good stuff. So we're going to kick it off with the Chicago White Sox. This was a team who was not good last year at all, and there was a manifold, that's a new word I'm trying to incorporate in my vocabulary. There was a manifold of things that caused them to just struggle like they did, right? And it was front office issues, injuries, all kinds of stuff. So I don't expect them to be a good team again this year. I have them finishing last in the division, and obviously if you finish last in the division, you ain't making the postseason. So they're not making the postseason. They finished 61 and 101 last season. I have them finishing 72 and 90, slightly better, but still not enough to get you a playoff berth or, win the division. But I'm looking out for 2 young guys on this team. And when I say players to look out for, it could be guys who are already on a roster or guys who are in the minors who could potentially make the roster. So it could be, various things. But I'm looking at Oscar Colas, top-rated prospect for the White Sox, super talented, solid defender. He's a Shohei hybrid, right? Outfielder, pitcher, talent, so he could play both. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him when he does start getting playing time, but he has a great arm and amazing instincts. I think he's going to be a very good player in the league, so I'm excited to see what kind of role he can carve out for himself this season. And then you got Jose Rodriguez, another great young talent. He could play shortstop and second base, so anytime you can play multiple positions, that's huge for a team. It gives them a lot of flexibility, and it just allows them to just keep things afloat if you get an injury or something like that. You got another guy you could plug into a position and he could play it comfortably and effectively. So I love Jose Rodriguez. I expect him to hit a minimum of 2 home runs this season, and he has great speed. So that's it's always a threat to steal bags. So, yeah, I don't expect the Chicago White Sox to be good again this year. It's going to take them a little time, but that's what I got for the White Sox. Moving on to the Cleveland Guardians. This was a team who was really good last year. I got them finishing second in the division, but I don't have them making the playoffs. They finished 76-86 last year. I have them finishing 88-74, which you would think, oh, that should be good enough to make a wild card. Nope, I got some other teams who I'll get into the next couple weeks. But, yeah, as far as the Guardians, you got Kyle Manzardo, another great young talent, elite ball to bat ability. He's a 300 batter with power, so that's always a plus. And then great plate discipline, which is huge. I mean, anytime you got a player who has great plate discipline in the league, most likely they're going to have a high batting average, obviously low strikeout rate. But, yeah, I love that for the Cleveland Guardians. Right, Brian Rocchio, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Brian Rocchio has been in the Guardian system since 2017. Elite defender. He's going to compete with Gabriel Arias and Tyler Freeman, for the position, and Jose Tina for the infield position. So he has some competition, but great young talent, could definitely make this roster. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Cleveland Guardians. But, yes, I have them missing the playoffs, but finishing second in the division. Moving on to the Detroit Tigers. I love this Tigers team. They're super talented. I think they're going to have a really good year. I think the future is super bright for them. They got some really good pitchers, some really good bats in this lineup. They finished 78-84 last year, and I almost have their records reversing because I expect them to finish around 87-75 this year. You got Reese Olson. It was his rookie year last year. I expect him to be a lot better this year. You got that rookie year under your belt, so you know the grind of the MLB season. You've gone through the 162 games, the travel, the ups and downs, seeing the professional talent, it's different watching guys on TV when you're a young player versus actually going against them in person. It's not like I would know because I don't play, but, you would imagine, right? Like, okay, yeah, I grew up watching this dude, or I watched him last year, and now you got to face them. I'm pretty sure it's a completely different animal. But I expect him to do good, man. He started 18 games last year. He had 103 Ks. So I expect those Ks to get up more close to the 120, 125 range. Super talented. Colt Keith, big talk. A lot of talk about him this offseason. He was a big signing, young, top-rated prospect for the Tigers. Another player with great plate discipline. Good power, still developing, but he's a rookie. It's going to take him time. He's super young. So remember the name Colt Keith. I'm telling you, though, within the next 2-3 years, you're really going to start hearing that name a lot. This dude is legit. He's really legit. I like him a lot. And then Tariq Skubal, he was a starting pitcher for the Tigers last year. Great velocity. He's very consistent. I love his arm talent. Very underrated, if you ask me, in my opinion. Solid pitcher to have in your starting rotation. I think the Tigers are going to be very good this year. They missed the playoffs, but I have them finishing third in the American League Central. And then we're going on to my dad's team, the Kansas City Royals. This was another team who struggled last year, was not good at all. They only won 56 games. They were 56-106. That's terrible. That's, oh my God. But I expect them to finish 70-92 this year. It's a big jump, 14-game jump, but I really like the moves they made. You bring in Hunter Renfroe. They brought in a couple other bats. They bring in Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha on the pitching rotation. That's going to be huge. Michael Wacha still has a lot in the tank. Pitched good for the Padres last year. Seth Lugo, he was nice for the Padres last year. So I really love both of those signings. And then MJ Melendez, he was 18 and 16 home runs per season. He could get to about mid-20s. I expect him to get to about mid-20s, but his first 2 seasons, it was 18 and 16. As a center fielder, outfielder. So I love MJ Melendez, a great young talent. He's a stud. And then I'm looking at Nelson Velasquez. He's an outfielder. I'm looking for him to hit about 25 bombs. He's a great young talent, a lot of power. He hit 6 home runs and 185 at-bats in 2022 for the Cubs, and he hit 14 home runs and 133 at-bats last season with the Royals. So his second year with the Royals, I expect that home run number to keep creeping up. Like I said, he's gone from 6 to 14. This year, I want to see him 25, 20, in the mid-20s, in the mid-20 range. I think that's very feasible for him. But again, I have the Royals missing the playoffs, but I have them finishing 4th in the division with about 70 wins. So if you want to take a good bet would be the Royals over their win total. I believe it's 73.5, so I'm slightly under where I think they'll be. But for the value, and I'm pretty much right on pace, I like that. And I actually came up with the 70 wins before I saw their win total from the Vegas Sportsbook. So just watching them last year, seeing the talent they have, is just my own, estimation. And then we're going to wrap it up with the Minnesota Twins. the cream of the crop in this division. I expect them to finish first. Again, I expect them to make the playoffs. They got a top 5 talent in Austin Martin. He's had some injury issues, but I want to see what he can give this team if he can make it and carve out a large role for himself on this team. They got a lot of good talent, so he's going to be competing with some guys, especially some veteran guys. But yeah, Austin Martin, another name to look out for. Royce Lewis, he balled out last year. He's going to do his thing again. And then Byron Buxton. If we can get Byron Buxton to be healthy, man, I need at least 100 games, man, from Byron Buxton. He's been riddled with injuries. But yeah, those are my American League Central predictions, and every week I'll hit you with, my predictions for each team, for each division, because baseball season is around the corner. But much love to all you guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. Hope y'all have a safe week, a great week. Much love to all y'all. I'll see you next week. Peace.